Good evening, ladies and gents. Back with another Conquerors Blade video. This time around, we're going to be listing every single purple unit in the game currently, and I'm going to be putting them into a tier list of the units that you want to be using and the units that you don't. Now, please, I'm going to say this right now because it has happened in the past. Do not go skipping right to the end, because then you will have lots of questions of why I've put things in different places. If you want to know the actual reasoning and the rationale behind each of my decisions, then please, you are going to need to watch the entire video. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and we will get straight into this. So we are going to go through all of the infantry first, then I'm going to go into the range, then we are going to do the cavalry. So starting off with the Hussars. The Hussars are a very, very poor unit at the minute. They are not doing anything at all. Literally played these the other day in a siege and they got absolutely smashed. They are going straight into D tier. Azaps are a personal favourite of mine. I really love these guys. They have recently had a buff. They have had a mastery increase and all the rest of it. They are still very poor in terms of the meta, but far better than the Hussars, so they are going to go into a C category. Now, moving on to the Murmilons. The Murmilons literally this week have had a buff again, and they're not as good as I would like to think they are, to be honest. They are still getting a little bit kind of beat on. I would say they are definitely better than the Hussars, though, and the Azaps at the minute. These guys are going to go into B tier. They do have a very shocking assault, but after that, they are actually like just a little bit of a wet blanket, and they don't really do a lot after that first initial charge, unfortunately. Now, the halberds. Halberds, I am not a particular enjoyer of the halberds and pikes and all the rest of it. However, I do see these guys getting played quite a bit in the game. So, I'm actually going to put these probably up into an A tier because I see a lot of people using them. And for the cav heavy meta at the minute, these guys are going to be tearing through a lot of cavalry units, which is why they are going to be in the A tier, because I think they are better than any of these units that we have put in so far. Spear Sergeants are getting really beat on at the minute. They are probably going to go into a C tier, I think, because I do not scare from them at all when I see them in the game, and actually I'm kind of aim for them, to be honest, because they are a little bit squishy and very easy to kill for some easy points. The Wu Wei Mansion Guards. Now, these are straight away into S tier. These are the ones that you want to be aiming for. They are so powerful at the minute. I am sure they are going to be getting nerfed, but right now in the game, these are guys that you definitely want to be picking up and playing. Imperial Pike Guards. So, before we get there, actually, I've just missed Paladins. Unfortunately, again, very poor unit at the minute, and they are going to go straight into D tier, because even though I personally really love the Paladins, I would not be taking them into any games because they are going to get absolutely pooped on. Imperial Pike Guards. Now, unfortunately, there is not a in between the S and A tier. I would have put them in that kind of tier there, so in between S and A. However, Imperial Pike Guards, in comparison to a lot of the other stuff here, are actually very good, very useful. They are going to go into an S tier. I think they are very useful when used properly, and because they are pikes, they are very useful against the cavalry. Tesserics are my boys. I wish they would get masteried. I wish they would get buffed. Tesserics, unfortunately, right now though, are straight D tier. They are absolutely pants at the minute, and anybody that takes these into a game, you are just hindering your team massively. Do not be taking these into games. Monks. So monks are a bit of a weird one. Monks, if you know how to play the monks properly, can actually do some damage and actually turn the game around. However, they are very squishy and they get pooped on quite a lot. So, and looking at this tier list and what we've got so far, I'm probably going to put the monks into a C tier, because they are just they're outperforming these deity units. They're not anything better than like this kind of caliber, though, unfortunately, at the minute. Really enjoyed the monks when they were good. They are not good at the minute. Onomushers are a very shocking, heavy assault kind of unit. Again, very squishy, unfortunately, but they are a very powerful unit, which actually does tear through quite a lot of stuff. But I'm going to put them in the same category as the Murmilons. If I had a choice between the Onomushers and the Murmilons, I would be taking the Murmelons, but I would choose the Onimushas over anything below here. So these girls are actually still quite a powerful unit, but just not as good as some of the other stuff in the tier list. Palace Guards. Palace Guards, again, very, very powerful unit as long as you know how to actually play them. And because of that fact, I'm actually going to put these into an S tier because they are countering the Wu Wise. They are countering a lot of other units as well, which people don't think they can. You really need to learn to play these though, because they are a very niche kind of unique unit, and it isn't just a one button press and score 1,000 kills. These guys, you got to really learn how to play them, but when you play them properly, they are really devastating when it comes to the battles in game. Imperial Point Guards, straight away I'm going to put those into S. Now this is not because of their damage output or killing potential, but actually their support abilities, their blocking, their tanking. They take such a beating with so much block that actually they can form bottlenecks in maps, and if you use these guys really, really well, they are so difficult to destroy with anything other than cavalry. Really, really good, powerful unit. I personally do not enjoy playing them, but I know actually when I see a bunch of them come out on my team, I am very, very happy indeed. Grandpas. So the Grandpas, they are a very niche unit. However, I don't see them getting played a lot, which makes me think that they are probably not the best of units, to be honest. So I'm going to put these into a C tier. I see them at this kind of level, unfortunately, in the game. Better than these units at the bottom, not better than the units above them at all. So they're just going straight into C tier. Men at Arms. Straight away, S tier. Men at Arms still absolutely smashing stuff up in the battlefield. Don't feel as powerful as they once did, so I don't know if there have been some shadow nerfs or something during the last few months, but these guys, again, really, really powerful unit, doing a lot of damage out in the game still. Moving on to my personal favourite, the Imp Javs. I absolutely love these guys. I love the Imperial Javs. They absolutely tear through anything like in the battlefield. Shields, Wu Wise, Imperial Pike Guards, they destroy literally everything. However, unfortunately, I would actually rather take the Men at Arms, the Wu Wise, the Imperial Pikes over these guys, because these guys just... There's something about them where actually if you end up by yourself and you're very reliant on the flying shield kind of ability, these guys, the Wu Wise, the Men at Arms, they can kind of hold their own. These guys can, the Imperial Pike Guards, but you are very reliant on that flying shield ability specifically. So I'm actually going to put these into an A tier. They are a very, very good Jav class, if not the best. And actually, I think I would much rather take those over anything below them, but I would rather take these kinds of things above them, to be honest. So, Imperial Javs. Not Imperial Javs, sorry. Jav Sergeants. Jav Sergeants are not as good as Imperial Javs, so they're going to go into a B tier just because they are a very powerful unit that can still do a lot of damage and turn the tide of battle, but they are nowhere near as good as the Imperial Javs. The Imperial Javs absolutely poop all over the Jav Sergeants, but these guys will poop all over anything below them in the tier list here. Axe Raiders. I don't know why some of you are playing the Axe Raiders again. I have seen them. They are absolutely pants. They are going straight into D tier. They get absolutely crapped on by literally everything in this game. I have seen so many people playing these in ranked games for some godforsaken reason, and actually they are not doing anything at all other than being bait and dying very, very quickly. Why you guys and girls are still playing these is beyond me. They are absolutely pants. Stay away from the Axe Raiders until they get properly sorted out. Fortebraccios. Fortebraccios have come back into light a little bit, and they are kind of setting themselves back up in the battlefield again. Not as good as they used to be, but they are slowly starting to get back into the game, which is a really nice, good thing to see after a few buffs in the last couple of months. I would probably put these into a B tier. I would put these between B and C, but I would probably actually stick these in a B tier because, again, I'd rather take these guys over anything below them. Very, very good unit against Cav and everything like that, but do really suffer in kind of melee bus stops on the siege maps and everything. So I think a B tier is quite fair for these guys. So then the Stalwarts. Stalwarts are unfortunately just like these guys down here, very, very poor at the minute. Not a good unit to be taking in the game at all. Again, still I think a bit better than the D tier stuff, but definitely anything below kind of B tier, I wouldn't be bothered taking any of these in. So the Stalwarts are going to be sitting in there. Now, these guys I haven't personally actually played, however, I've seen a lot of people playing these and they seem to be really tearing up the battlefield at the minute. Because of that, I'm actually going to put them into a B tier because, again, don't think these guys are as good as the Imperial Javs, because the Imperial Javs can not only one-shot heroes with their Javs, but their fly shield ability as well. I don't think these guys, or I think these guys hit harder with their Javs, but when it comes to melee, they actually suffer a little bit, which is why I'm going to put them a little bit lower than the Imp Javs here. But I think if you are taking in the Percival Javs, then actually you are going to be quite happy. They are going to do a bit of work for you and get you a fairly decent kind of score ratio. Claymores. Claymores, again, a lot of people have been playing these recently, and actually I can see why. They have a very good damage output potential. They are very kind of damaging and destroy a lot of stuff when timed and used properly. However, very, very squishy in their debuff. I think that debuff needs looking at. I think it is just too much of a debuff after using their initial skill and everything. But I would still put these in a B tier. Like I said, I'd much rather use the Claymores over anything below them here at the minute. So I think these guys fairly sit in the B tier because I wouldn't be picking anything, or I wouldn't be picking these over anything above them at all. So I would put them in this kind of line here with all that kind of stuff. Berserkers. Berserkers, unfortunately, are very, very bad at the minute. Not as bad as the D tier stuff. So I'm going to put them into C, but I would be staying away from these at the minute. They are not a great unit at all, and you are going to be suffering if you are playing the Berserkers. They once ruled the battlefield. They don't anymore. Stay away from them. Banner Guards. Banner Guards just go straight to D tier. They are one of the worst melee units in the game. They have been since they have been in, and they just bring nothing to the game whatsoever, unfortunately. So stay away from the Banner Guards. Now the ranged. So I'm going to start off with the muskets, and then we're going to look at the archers after that. Now I do get confused between which ones are which here, but I think these ones here... So I think these ones here are the Matchlock Ashy Guru. Going to stick those straight into D tier. Really, really poor unit. Do not bother with them at all. They're really, really bad. Literally, they are just horrendous. Just don't... I can't even say anything else about them, to be honest. Kriegsrat. Now, the Kriegsrat are quite a decent musket unit. Very, very damaging. Very, very powerful. Squishy, as they should be. These I would put into a B tier. They're fairly decent. Probably one of the best, or the best purple musket unit, to be honest, but I would be choosing other stuff over them. But I'm going to put them at this level because I don't think actually they are any worse than anything down here, and I'd rather be playing these than I would be any of this kind of stuff. I think you're going to have a lot more outcome and potential with these than you are anything below them. These guys here, I can't remember what they're called, but they're going to just go straight into C tier because, again, not the best musket unit, not the worst, but straight into C tier. I wouldn't bother, to be honest, with anything other than the Kriegsrat, to be honest, if you are playing musket. Now, the bows. So, Vassal Longbow. A lot of people are playing these, and I know everybody hates the range, but there is a place for ranged in this game, and the Vassal Longbowmen are absolutely naughty. I'm going to put these into a B tier, though, because, again, I'd rather be playing some of these over the Vassal Longbows, but really, really good longbow unit with a massive amount of range on their attacks. Actually, was the first unit I ever maxed out in the game as well. I do love them personally, but actually the Imperial Archers have quenched it for me, and the Imperial Archers I'm going to stick straight into an A tier. These would actually be an S to A tier for me, so an in-betweenie in the middle, but I'm going to stick them more into A tier because I'd rather be playing the Wu-Wais and the Men-at-Arms than the Imperial Archers. However, my current warband, my current build is Wu-Wai, Men-at-Arms, Imperial Archers, and I am scoring 100 plus unit kill games easily every single game. most of the kills actually coming from these guys, because people underestimate the Imperial Archers, and their skill when mastered is absolutely insane. Does a huge amount of damage, not only to units but heroes as well. Very, very good, powerful unit. Now looking at the cavalry, so the Kriegsbrüder, we are going to stick straight into A. I think they're a really good unit. Very, very good flanking unit, can get round, have a self-heal, do a lot of damage. Very, very good. Not as good as they used to be, but a very, very good cavalry unit for the purple tier. The Kev tools are, I think these are the Kev tools, but they're horrendous. Just don't bother with them. They're an absolute waste of space. Prefetcher Cav, I would put into a C tier. Fairly decent, not as good as some of the others, but fairly decent, can pump out a lot of damage. Companion Cavalry, I've not heard good things about these guys, so I'm not overly sure about the Companion Cavalry at the minute, but I'm going to stick them into a C tier because not a lot of people have unlocked them, not a lot of people have rushed to get them, and I'm not sure they're really going to be worth much in getting at the minute, unfortunately. Sci-Fi's straight into a D tier. They're a horrendous cavalry unit, which actually bring nothing to the siege battle, and you're going to be more of a hindrance than a benefit to your team using these, so I would not even bother. Dagger Axe Lancers, going to stick these into a B tier. They're a very, very good, powerful kind of shock cav, which can pump out a lot of damage very, very quickly. Not the best of cav, but a very, very good one nonetheless. Camels, I would be in between kind of A and B here. I'm probably going to stick these in at probably B. Nowadays, they used to be a lot better than what they are now. I think actually these guys do hold their own. They can hold kind of choke points and stuff like that, but they can get flanked very easily, and they can take a lot of damage in terms of fire and stuff. So I think just a B tier for these. The Armigers, again, I'm going to stick them into a B tier. I think they're along the same kind of level of these guys, to be honest. Nothing special, to be honest, and I would much rather be taking the Kriegsbrüder over any of these. And we're going to finish off with these guys. I can't remember what they're called, but I'm going to stick them straight into a C tier because they're just not great. They're not as good as anything else, and I would much rather be taking, if I have to take a cavalry when it comes to purple, I'd be taking the Kriegsbrüder over anything. So this is my tier list. If you have any opinions or difference in where you would be placing stuff, then please do let me know down the bottom of the videos. So let me know where you would put stuff, why you would put it there, what changes you would make here. But I think this is a fairly solid kind of list at the minute with all the purple units in the game. And I think if you are going to be aiming for purple units, aim for B and above. Anything B and above, you're pretty safe, to be honest. Do not bother with anything down here at the current time of this video, because it is just a waste of your time, waste of your resources, and you ain't going to be getting anything from playing with any of these at the minute. Even the Ceregs and Azaps, real personal favourites of mine, I would never bring them into a battle because they're just absolutely horrendous at the minute. But you've got a good few choices from B tier and upwards, so just have a look at all these kind of bad boys here, and you'll be pretty squared away with everything kind of from this line up. So I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, if you have any different opinions, let me know with your reasons why down in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this video around to someone that you think it may help if they are brand new into the game. Thank you very much for watching, folks, as always, and I hope to catch you out on the battlefield.